Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Misk podcast. My name is Farah Abu Zaid, and today I have with me one of my closest friends, Arazni.
Hi, that's me. I'm Arazni Kader. Thank you for having me on your podcast today.
Yes, Arazni. So we're going to start by introducing ourselves a little bit more, talking about some things. Arazni, you want to go first?
Sure, thank you. My name is Arazni Kader. I am 21 years old. I am a university student and I study business. You want to go?
Yes. So my name is Farah, like I said. I'm also a university student. I'm studying psychology. I'm very passionate about psychology in general, and I also like to do art.
I am very passionate about business. That's what I'm studying. And I'm also a real estate agent. So call me if you need a house.
Of course, of course. So today's topic is about Sunday school. So, Arazni, can you tell me a little bit about what Sunday school means to you?
So in the beginning, Sunday school to me when I was younger, because I started coming, I think at the age of like 10 or 12. I'm not sure. I'm a bit iffy. But I remember it being kind of annoying in a way because I didn't really want to come, but I didn't understand why my parents were forcing me to come on a Sunday when I was supposed to be like having fun. Like,
Of course, our weekend.
yeah, weekend time. But as I grew older, I understood why I was coming. It was to learn more about Islam and learn how to read the Quran and
Of course.
be more in tune with my religion. And I think that that's a good thing because in normal school throughout the days, you don't really, like, yes, you pray, you go to the masjid, you go to Jummah, but it's not the same, like, dedicating hours in a day to, like, learning different topics.
Yeah.
So
That's really beautiful. Thank you.
And what about you?
So, No Iqra school, the Sunday school here in Mesquite, is the one that we're talking about.
Yes.
My dad is the imam here, of course, so it has been a part of my life since day one, since they first started. So I would be a student, of course, but I would also watch behind the scenes. So my parents talking about Sunday school, teaching their kids. So it was, I guess, a part of my childhood, not just a school that I would go to once a week.
Or not just on Sundays.
Yeah.
You'd hear about it all the time.
Of course, yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, so Razi, tell me more about the part where you said you were forced to go to Sunday school, and I'm sure that other people can relate to that. Tell me about how that feeling of being forced changed over time and how that was different for you.
Yes, of course. So actually today was when I learned how my dad connected with your dad. So my dad was introduced to New Ikra school because he came for Friday Salah and he heard the imam talking about, here in New Ikra school, and my dad was like, I should bring my kids here. And so I remember him talking to my mom about it, like, oh, we should enroll the kids here, like they'll learn so much. And I was like, no, I ran away. I was like, no, I don't want to. Like, Sundays are like happy time, free time, do whatever I wanted. But in the end, I was forced to come, but I'm so glad that they did. And so in the beginning feeling was kind of frustrating because I felt like I didn't have a choice. Right. But, after time, I met you and I felt like this was such a safe space. I felt like, and I don't know Arabic, guys, but they were always so inclusive, like so nice, so inclusive, and I just felt like I was being hugged. And I learned so much, like the Islamic history with your dad and his class, and then I also learned to read Arabic because of your mom, and it was like an accomplishment. Yeah. And you, how do you feel about?
In the beginning, it wasn't exactly forced for me. It was just my dad's job, my mom's job, and I was also a student. Of course, we were together in our classroom. We caused a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I remember one time we were in that room. What was it called? Islamic studies, and I was sitting in the back with Farah. And your dad was teaching the class, and we wouldn't stop talking. And your dad got so mad.
But we learned a lot in that class. Alhamdulillah. Yes. So it was just something that was a part of my life. I guess sometimes I wouldn't want to come. We were kids.
Yeah.
I want to stay home. I want to, or weekend.
Yeah.
But I didn't only just learn the things that we were taught, but I also, over time, learned how to teach as well. From my mom, teaching the tajweed, Nuraniya, which is a specific book that we used to use. So in middle school, fast forward a little bit, in middle school, I started actually volunteering and teaching the little kids, which is something that I learned from my mom, of course. And I would help her out because I graduated.
Yeah.
Really.
You didn't graduate.
Never really graduate from Sunday school, really. There's always much to learn.
And that's good. I feel like you never stop learning here.
Exactly. Yeah. So yes, I started teaching in middle school, and up till now, I have my students, and I'm teaching them Arabic and how to read, alhamdulillah.
And she's so good with them, guys. Like, they create...
Thank you. Okay, my next question is, what do you think are the advantages of Sunday school based on dealing with the community, your personal life? What do you think?
Okay, so Sunday school, I think the advantages are you being able to include both like public school, normal public school in your life, and then also on Sundays include
Islamic
school,
yes.
Yeah, and you learn from like both worlds, and it's not like a full-time Islamic school like Monday through Friday, and then on Sunday you come again, you know? One of the advantages is how you can be all consumed with like Islamic studies here on Sundays only, and then you go back to public school, and then, you know, like there's times when you're like from different cultures or backgrounds, they ask you questions, you know.
So then you're able to actually answer them.
And not being like, oh, it's just the way that it is.
Just religious reasons.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, but why? You know?
Exactly.
So there were many times in school before I started coming to New Ikra school, like people would be like, oh, why can't you eat this, or why you wear that, like, you know. And I'd be like, oh, I don't know, like it's just the way it is, like that's the way my dad like taught me not to do, taught me to say, you know. And then when I started coming here, like it all clicked. I was like, okay, that's why I can't wear nail polish. Okay, that's why. Okay, you know. And it all started clicking, and I had less like resentment, because before I felt like it was just like restricting, but I didn't understand the full picture. And then coming here, I learned why it is, and it has so much like density and meaning and impact. And I was like, wow, subhanAllah. So I think that that's one advantage, where you can come here and learn. You go back to your normal life, I guess you could say.
Normal schools.
Public schools with a whole bunch of different backgrounds and cultures and ways of thinking, and just being able to feel confident, I think.
And represent yourself.
In like 100% way.
Being confident in who you are.
Exactly. Being confident in what you say, what you do, you know, how you carry yourself. It's a big part of...
But also affects self-esteem, I think. So it's very important to be able to protect yourself, stand up for yourself in situations that might occur in public schools as well.
I agree.
I also think that another advantage of Sunday school is that we don't isolate ourselves from the whole world, as opposed to Islamic schools, where it's Islamic school and studies in Arabic Monday through Fridays, like you said. Sunday school, you're able to learn what you can during Sunday school and apply that to public schools and your life in general, community outside of schooling in general. So I think that's also nice, that we're not isolating ourselves, but we open up multiple doors instead of just one, you know?
Another thing I really like about Sunday school is, in public school, you don't really find a lot of friends that are Muslim, like especially like girls for us. So coming here, I like made so many friends, and especially Farah, she's been by my side for I think like 5+ years. So
more.
Yeah. It's good. It's locked in. So being able to cultivate those friendships
Mhm.
that you might not be able to cultivate in public school
Yeah.
because, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes we're not surrounded by our community, and
Of
it's just
course.
nice coming here, meeting people.
You create a family. It's more
Exactly.
than just friendship for me. It's a family.
It's a family, and
Yeah.
it kind of feels so like warm and
Yeah,
like a little
it's
hug.
comforting.
Yeah, it's so comforting.
It's nice to know that you have people that you can rely on that understand you
Yeah.
100%. That you
Yeah.
don't have to explain yourself to.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Okay, so next question is for Farah. Now that we've been exposed to both public school and Islamic school, what are the advantages of, you know, learning from here and then going back to public school and, you know, being an ambassador for Islam and showing your side to your friends that are from different cultures and backgrounds?
I think that we are better able to make sure that our friends, through the 12 years that we're together, we grew up together, we've gone through ups and downs, we've learned everything together in public schools, of course. So we're better able to show them who we are. What does it mean to be Muslim? What does it mean to be a hijabi? For example, I put my hijab on 6th grade. So I was able to, I guess, represent what a Muslima is, what a hijabi means to these 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, so middle school, high school. And so I think that we're better able to be put in that position because of our knowledge with Sunday school to show them that this is what a Muslima means versus what they're seeing in the news and other popular media from parents, relatives, teachers. You never know.
Yeah.
Everyone is biased in that way. So it's important that we educate ourselves and also apply that education, apply that in our friendships and relationships with people in our schools, showing empathy, showing love, showing care, because that's also what being a Muslim means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. You explained that too good.
Thank you. What do you think?
I think advantages of being exposed to both and being an ambassador for, you know, Islam is, again, like just being able to be open-minded. I think is big because you can't just shut out people just because they have different beliefs.
Of course.
You know, so being inclusive and being gentle, and also whenever you're in a position where you're getting bullied or like, you know, you're getting picked on, it's like you don't react in a hateful way, you know, because you know what you believe in and you know why you do. So it's, I think whenever you come to Islamic school, they teach you right from wrong. And so when you're put in that position, at least for me, I would never like lash out or, you know, I just, you know, let it go because it's never that serious. And especially in middle school or in high school, you know, and I just, yeah. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that after those 12 years that you spend with your friends, you forge those relationships, you forge those connections and friendships so that when they do hear whatever they do hear about Muslims, whether
on the
media, news, whatever it is, they're less likely to change their minds. They're less likely to believe, their judgment be clouded by what they see, believe what they see, believe what they hear
about Muslims. You know,
yeah, because they know you.
Exactly.
I know Orazmi. She's a Muslim. That's not true. What are you talking about? Also, politics. Yeah. Politics was big for me in middle school. That affected the way that kids would react to seeing the hijab, for example. Teachers would react to it. Everyone. Yeah. So, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what it means to be a Muslim, what it means to be a hijabi, what it means to be part of this community is important.
Yes.
So that other people can know who we are and yeah.
I feel like another really cute thing about being so like open about your beliefs is whenever your friends, like let's say for example you're saying something and they out of nowhere say like mashallah or like alhamdulillah.
You know, teach them, of course they learn.
That's so cute, you know, like whenever you're out with them and then you're about to eat and then they say like bismillah. Like It's
Or
so
they remind
cute.
you to say Bismillah and you forget.
Yes. Or whenever like they see you looking beautiful or something, they're like,
MashaAllah.
It's like, okay, you're understanding now.
Yeah.
And it's so cute because it's not just like something that a Muslim can say,
Yeah,
because
of course.
like the translation,
The meaning it applies
it's, like,
to everyone.
to everyone. So
Yeah.
I think that that's so cute, and they start being like, you start cultivating them, but not like, it's not like we're trying to influence them. It's just like it's coming from them,
Coming out of love.
Yeah, it's coming out
the
of
friendship, the connection that
you're like teaching, like
indirectly teaching.
indirectly teaching. Yes, that's what I'm trying
indirectly influencing.
to say. Indirectly influencing. Yes,
because we are influencers whether we want to or not.
Yeah,
that's the main point to say. Because
exactly.
For me, I'm a hijabi, so when I step out of the house, everyone knows. Oh, she's a Muslim. She represents Islam, whether I want to or not. It's something that we shouldn't think about negatively, but also actually positively, because we can do so much.
Yeah,
with it.
And you're like the representation of Islam, so it's like
it's
all on you. So, Farah, next question for you again. Have there been situations in your life where, someone in school or someone that you see every day or a stranger or whatever comes and asks you about Islam or why you do this or why you don't do that?
Of course, during middle school and high school, there are also always kids who would not exactly ask, but comment.
Of course.
And sometimes I would let it go because, sometimes you're just not in the mood. Sometimes you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a stranger, you don't want
to be like explosive.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to make a problem when there shouldn't be one. But other times when the situation is right, like if someone is passing you in the hall and they say a comment, you're not going to stop and start explaining things to them. Of course, you have to pick and choose the times.
And also it depends like on the comment, on the type of comment.
Yeah. That too. But there have been situations in classrooms, not like in the halls, in the classrooms where people have asked me about the hijab or asked me about I don't remember specific questions, but I do remember one time about the hijab. A girl asked me. She was in my medical terminology class. She was like, "Why do you wear it?" And I was like, "I'll tell you." Now I was really happy to tell her because I love talking about it. Of course, it's who I am. It's what I represent, like we said. So I explained to her, no, it's not oppressing to do this. I choose to do it. I'm happy to do it. I love to do it. I was never forced, which is a big thing that they assume. Yeah. It's not forced. It shouldn't ever be forced. Yeah. So yes, I explained to her that I wear the hijab as protection, as right. It's in my part of my religion, but it's also you have to explain why. Yes. Say, it's religious reasons, religious issues.
I think the explanation about why women wear hijab in Islam is so like beautiful, and then whenever you explain it to someone that has no idea, and maybe like media has influenced them, like, oh, they're oppressed, like they're forced to, and then you open their minds to the reality.
Think it's beautiful too. Like this girl, she's like, wow, I that's so nice. I told her, we as women, we are not. We are queens, okay? And no one has access to queens. Exactly. No one has easy access to queens. We are at a higher standard. We should put ourselves at a higher standard by setting up, covering ourselves. Why? Why do we cover ourselves? Because no one has the right to see us. Yeah. No one has the right to touch us. No one has the right to put us in situations where
we're uncomfortable.
Exactly. So we take those steps, one of those steps, wearing the hijab, to protect us from things like that and to make it clear, which is important. Make it clear to people that we are not to be messed with, not to be touched, not to be trifled with. Yes, exactly. So another point that I made sure to talk to her about is that wearing the hijab doesn't automatically make you a Muslim, and many Muslim girls don't wear the hijab. It's not what makes us Muslim. It's just a part of our identity, a part of our it's God's will. It's an obligation, a religious obligation that we are supposed to. It's part of our faith. Yeah. So I also made that clear to her, and I also brought up the fact that it's not just in Islam hijab. What does hijab mean? To cover, to be covered. And so in other religions, Christianity, Judaism, even back then, they would all cover. Mary, she was covered.
Yeah.
If you go back in history in Europe, if you look at the movies, read about them in books, the way that the women were dressed,
it was modest.
Yeah, it was modest. It was They were covered. They were long clothing. And then nowadays, it's important to understand that because now there's no limit. We don't limits are blurred to how much people cover, how much they don't cover. So it's important to make that point as well.
Yeah, and it's important to understand that just because I've heard this, you know, and it's like it's true, but just because like a girl or a woman wears a hijab, like that doesn't make them a good person.
It doesn't make them perfect Muslim.
It doesn't make them like a perfect Muslim, and it doesn't automatically like make them a good person
or make them better than someone.
Or make them And another point about hijab is another misconception. I feel like people think that hijab is just like okay, just this covering where you're covering your hair and your ears and your neck, like just the fabric covering your head. But in reality, hijab is you're covering your whole body, being modest. It's also being honest, having Islamic values, being a humble person, being nice. It's all like a lifestyle. It's a whole package. It's not just the little fabric that covers your hair. I think it's important to understand that it's the way that you live your life.
Yeah.
Like it's like fully committed.
It's a commitment. It's a lifestyle. It's the way that you carry yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, so covering the body is the last chapter in the book of what hijab means.
Yeah.
It's not the first, I don't say first goal, but it's not the first point that we should focus on. We should focus on the full package, the whole story of what hijab means.
Like, it's like being a good person, being humble, praying, fasting.
Yeah.
The whole deal.
Okay, Arasne, I have one last question for you today. Okay. How do you think Sunday school affected your life and personal life and relationships with your family members? Give us a little history about where you're from.
Okay.
And tell us about more about that.
So I think this question is really good for me, especially because I come from two different cultures and backgrounds. I come from a Hispanic Latino side from my mom from Venezuela, and my dad, Arab, from Palestine. And so on my mom's side, they're different culture, different beliefs. And on my dad's side, it's the same one that I have. So growing up, there was always just two influences, yes, in a way, because my mom, she converted when she married my dad, of course. But there was always, that Latino side of,
a very big influence that's not gonna...
Yeah, and especially, not, knowing Arabic. I know Spanish, but I don't know Arabic, so that was, another thing that I felt kind of excluded, but not really. But I just wished that I knew Arabic because, when we're in Salah, or, it's a big impact. But I feel like I'm glad that my dad exposed me to learning more, because right now I would be so lost if I didn't come to New Iqra school. But coming just made me very I touched the mic. Coming to New Iqra school made me very centralized in my beliefs and what I now know about Islam and my culture. And it made me much closer to the culture that I don't have much of here, because our family from my dad's side, they're in other countries or in other states here, and I have more close family from my mom. So it's just nice having this community coming here and feeling a part of.
Okay, so specifically, how would you say that has affected your relationships with your siblings, your mom's side of the family, like you said, your Venezuelan side?
Yes. So my mom's mom and my mom's sister, they're not Muslim, but that's really the only family I have here, like close family. The way it's impacted me it hasn't been bad at all, and I'm so glad. Like, alhamdulillah, my grandma is very open to our like my mom's new religion, like back then, and my aunt too. They're very, whenever we invite them for any like celebration or something, they're always there, and like they're so supportive. And when I graduated from New Iqra school, like my grandma was here, and she was just so like taking pictures, like so proud of me. And whenever like they ask questions like, oh, like why can't you do this, or they're very understanding, and I'm so glad, because there's families like that, like that they don't take you into consideration, because they're like,
they put up walls, they put up barriers, boundaries that shouldn't be there.
Exactly. And I'm so glad that my family are so open-minded, and especially my dad also being open-minded with my mom and with me. And it's very nice having a family that's very inclusive and open-minded. So in the end, in conclusion, I think that it has like impacted me in a very beautiful way, because I get to teach my grandma and my aunt things about Islam, and they're like, oh wow, I didn't know that, like that's so beautiful, and it's very nice.
Alhamdulillah, I love that for you.
Yes, thank you. It is an alhamdulillah moment.
I like that.
Yeah. So as you said, you've been growing up with Islamic school your whole life. How do you think that's going to impact the way that you raise your kids in the future?
That's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. Of course, I appreciate the fact that I have been going to Sunday school since 6 years old. So I would do that for my kids as well, make it a point to enroll them in Sunday school. Because it's not just about the education, it's about the community, the friendships, the social aspect of Sunday school as well, making Arab friends, making Arab friends, making Muslim friends, learning about who they are from people that they can relate to, that they can understand, and will understand them, and helping them foster those relationships and building that trust, that community early on will help them in their future lives, as they've helped me and they've helped you.
Definitely.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, I would definitely also send my kids to Sunday school early on, like you said, because I already know how it feels having to adopt a new like lifestyle on Sunday. So I think whenever they're raised knowing that that's like a thing that they have to do,
not that they have to do, but it's something that
basically. It's something that it's, I don't want them to feel forced.
Yeah, that's what.
But you know what I don't want them to feel forced, but they're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna be a thing.
Because I think that the early on, the better, because they won't feel forced. They'll just think that it's something that they do.
It's something that they do. It's
that they'll love. They'll grow to love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Little kids.
Yeah, especially like whenever they make friends, they're gonna want to be like, oh, I want to go see him.
Yeah, they're gonna be excited to come.
Exactly. And another thing I think I would do that my parents didn't do with me is maybe sending my kids to learn Arabic somewhere. Like, inshallah, they'll learn Arabic. And is there something that you wish your kids would do
that my parents didn't?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I can't think of anything right now.
I think the only thing for me is the Arabic thing. Yeah, it's pretty big, but hopefully I'll learn it someday.
You are learning. Inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
Thank you, Arazni, for meeting with me today and for talking. I had a really good time speaking with you.
Thank you for inviting me and for asking me such deep questions and having a great conversation about it.
Everyone, thank you for watching Misk podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode with a different topic, inshallah, a different guest from the community. And if you have any ideas, comments, concerns, or if you would like to be a guest, there's going to be a link in the description below, inshallah.
Thank you guys for watching again. My name's Arazni. It was really nice being here and being able to share my experience with you guys. Inshallah, I'll be in another video.
Future episode.
A future episode with a different topic. So, thank you. مع السلامة.